Right, so apologies for the small amount of people who care at the moment about the lack of videos. We've been busy. We thought we'd do a quick video on this lovely, beautiful £250 I think I paid for this, and I paid for it against a Kia Sportage, the 65 plate one we had in. Let me just clear the shit off the windscreen. Look at this. Oh my god. Right, I paid £250 for this. It has done 121,327 miles. I've made it into third gear. It all drives fine. It did have an engine management light on, which it no longer does. Now, when he part exchanged, he goes, "Oh, you won't believe this, but the engine management light has just come on." And I'm like, "Oh, that old chestnut." But genuinely, it's off now. I didn't clear it. I did scan it, and it was coming up as an EGR problem. I can't remember exactly what. And there was an ABS one in there, but there was no ABS light. The reason I paid £250 for it, apart from it being absolutely disgusting, but judging by the B-roll Lewis done, you'd probably have seen the mold that is in this thing. And if I can describe the smell, I mean, it's trying to be masked by tons of air fresheners. Oh, the carpet's wet. Everything's just wet in this because it's honestly, he was very honest. He's like, it's leaking from the boot. When he came to look at the Kia originally, his boot was, I'm not joking, it was like a swimming pool. It was filled, like the whole wheel well and everything, the spare wheel was full of it. And they've had it a little while and it's been leaking a little while. They had a kid in it. I just feel like everything I touch is modded. They had a kid in it for the last 4 years, which, you know, isn't great. It doesn't have a sunroof, so it must be leaking from the rear somewhere. I don't know where, to be honest. At £250, I'm not really interested. It's not that old. 61 plate, it might even be a 2012 late 61 plate, and it's on 121,000 miles, so it's definitely not something I'd retail, but it's got to be worth 1,500 quid if it wasn't leaking. The MOT runs out in September. It's got quite a few advisories, but the only concerning one is like just drive shaft stuff. The rest are just nothing, like engine covers and a child seat. I don't want to scrap it, but if you have a look at the problem with Japanese cars is they rot. I don't think they're hugely built for this sort of climate, just because every Japanese car I get, even like not even that old ones, they start rotting from the boot or like the top of the doors. This has the issue with the top of the doors rot, and there's water coming in from there because there's nowhere for the rubber seal to sit on. We just pull out really carefully from here. Nice. That stinks. So this is rotten. Really, you need 2 rear doors for this, because the way, I'm sure the B-roll will show you, the way it's rotted, there's nowhere for the rubber seals to go, so like to sit on the lip, so the rubber seals aren't keeping in water very well, and I think it's mainly leaking from the boot. It has been raining the last few days and it's not wet in the boot, which confuses me, because when he took it in part exchange, like took it to show me, it like drove it here, it was honestly, the water was that deep. I've never seen anything like it. He had a towel in the boot that was floating around, and the towel was obviously there to stop the moisture, but it was floating in this pool of water. It's the usual grimy sort of, you know, car that's never been cleaned, as you can tell by the amount of brake dust that's on the wheels. That'll be fun to get off. It's a shame. This honestly drives spot on. You know, apparently it's had a cam belt done. It's actually got loads, and I mean like loads of history, spare key. I don't want to scrap it, but I'm not going to put doors on it or paint the doors or get them repaired. Or I think there's a bit of damage in the rear quarter panel. I could list it on Facebook for cheap, but then you got to deal with the cheap Facebook people, so I don't know. And I've just started to clear my horrible part exchange scrap corner. Oh, locking wheel nut, oh my god, it even has that. Now I'm driving this, it feels really sacrilege to get rid of this. I wasn't expecting this to drive so well, so that's a shame. Like, there doesn't seem to be a thing wrong with it, but I know like there's an intermittent EML. Oh, we're going to do the little suspension test. Timed it, here we go. Oh, there's a horse. Okay. This does drive really well. My indicator's still on, but it's not making a noise. So what do I do with it? I was fully prepared to be on camera. Oh, this drives horribly. There's a knock. There's this. The gears feel horrible. The clutch feels horrible. Nope. Everything seems perfect with it, to be honest, and the MOTs aren't too bad. I'm just worried about the corrosion on the... I don't actually know how bad the corrosion is. These are the sort of decisions I make. Like, do you put money into something like this and then wait for 2 months, a month for it to sell to get your money back. Something cheap like this should sell pretty quick. I think I remember doing the valuation and it was saying $2,000 on a forecourt, but you'd have to sort the EGR fault and that ABS fault that's not coming up as a light, and then you've got to warrant something and be their dad for 6 months on something that's done 121,000 miles, which isn't super high for these engines, but not old. Like it's not low, and it's old, but it's not too bad. I think I could probably, if I try and look for the leak in the boot at least, because it's not leaking too much water like from the window, it just lets in condensation because of the rubber seals not being fitted right, because of the corrosion. If I can sort the boot leak, I thought to myself, then get rid of the mold, clean it, give it a really good valet, and then maybe I'd stick it up for I don't know, £1,000, 1,500 quid. Maybe put another MOT on it. I'll have to go on a ramp to see. But in my mind, I was like, I'm just scrapping this. But now I'm driving it. I don't want to. Why does this drive so well? Does the radio work? Radio works. What else have I got? Cruise control, does that work? Cruise control's not working. Is it working? It's not working. Okay, well that's one thing that doesn't work. Maybe it does. Am I using this right? I know how to use these. Is it working? No, cruise control doesn't work. The light comes on, but it doesn't work. But yeah, that's a shame, isn't it? I don't actually know. I'll tell you what, if I do go ahead and try and save this, you will see a return of this in either a different video or something, I don't know. But I doubt it. I'm probably just going to maybe give it a valet, find the boot leak, and if it's easy to fix, then I'll fix it. He told me, oh yeah, it's just a rubber seal. But you don't do, you don't let your car go for £250 if you know it's just a rubber seal. Especially because his brother's a mechanic. I swear there was like a mechanic in the family, as there always is. He would have looked at it and gone, yeah, that's so I'd get rid of it and find a dealer who will pay you too much money for it. Although £250 isn't too much money for it. So if I had more time right now, I'd probably just stick a hose on this and see where it leaks from. But I don't. But I will in the week. But we want to put this video out, so we'll put this video out. And I'll tell you what, if you have any idea what you would do if you're in my position, this indicator doesn't really work. That's what I mean. It's just got loads of little bits. What would you do if you paid £250 for this? And I could probably Part X to clear it cheap. So instead of paying I could probably clear it for like 1,250 quid maybe, something like that. It would sell. I'd have to sort a few bits on it, but nothing major. So just let me know what you would do. Is it worth saving? It drives like it's worth saving, but how bad is the rot underneath? And how bad is the rot on the doors? Very bad, I can see that. Drive back, I think I'm going to scrap it. It won't rev past like 2,800 RPM, like at all. Like it's not even close to limiter. It's meant to rev to like 4.5. I'm assuming it's something to do with that EGR code, but I can't be asked to figure that out. I was driving it like normal, so I didn't really notice, and then I did drive it a bit hard, but I wasn't really focusing, so a bit like the MX-5, it took me about an hour to realise that fifth gear doesn't really work. That's a shame. What else is in here? It's pretty clean actually, apart from all the mould. I mean, it's a bit grimy, but yeah, that's a shame, isn't it? I will probably sell it with its faults for hopefully a couple £100 more than I paid for it, and then someone can do their mechanic bits capable and on a driveway and wants to make a bit of money, where they don't have to tax it or sell 20 cars a month to make a living. So yeah, that's the plan. I will probably still valet it and see where the boot leaks come from, because I'll probably get another 100 quid for it if it doesn't leak, and do that myself, because I could probably figure that out. I don't mind doing water leaks, which is weird, because I've done quite a few of them, especially on my my wife's Tiguan that she had from the sunroof drains, if you know anything about that. So anyway, that's a shame, isn't it? This does drive really well though, so it's probably going to be... I'm going to try and not scrap it, because someone will save this. I think I'm going to scrap it. So I'll try and make it appealing enough, clean enough, and fix the boot leak to where someone will try and save it. Because mechanically it's okay once you sort this EGR out. I imagine someone will just blank out the EGR and map it out, and they can fix it. But an EGR, I think, is like, an EGR cooler on these are like 700 quid. So if you bought a new one, like a brand new one from Kia, so it's just not worth it at this point. I think that'll be the plan.